But somewhere I've also really thought about my race is also in dating. Like, I think that's somewhere where lots of people, like, their race comes up all the time when you're dating someone.
Like, even when I was little, I was like, oh, why don't the boys like me? Or like, I always noticed, like, in elementary school through like grade school, guys I liked or thought she'd always definitely like the cute blonde girl. And like, obviously I don't look like a blonde girl. I was definitely...
And my first boyfriend was actually this white guy, and so, like, my race constantly came up for some reason for him.
Saw the people as most like potentially threatening were white men. And I thought, I was really confused. I was like, well, aren't I supposed to, isn't that what I'm supposed to like? Isn't that what I'm supposed to be attracted to? Isn't that supposed to be like a standard of like masculinity and handsomeness?
Things like, oh, you're the first Asian girl I dated. His best friend was dating someone Asian at the time, and they would like bond over it. And it was just something like, it was kind of, I was like hyper aware of my race at that time, so.
It's like, I grab it, like my way of subverting that is always like kind of gravitating towards guys who are half Asian. Because I think we have a common background, and they get me. I feel like those kind of like attractions and love are so colonized by ideas of power and like how power and difference kind of can work to one's advantage. And sometimes I think, like, am I fetishizing half Asian men? is that possible? I have like just blinders to everything else, and I'm just like half Asian. And like when I find out that they're not so, I don't know, invested in like their mixed identity, or they don't think about it, or they haven't really explored it, or they identify like monoracial as like white, my interest immediately like, I don't know, dips, and like that's not their fault at all. Like, how you identify is how you identify. I mean, there's no really right or wrong, but I get really, I don't know, I'm like sad or like judgmental, or I'm like, really? You don't?
Of white male Asian females, and this is the way they view their situation, is universal. It's like, okay, so like a white man marries an Asian woman, and the white man is already like a loser, and I'm gonna be just completely blunt because this is the way, so they view is like the white man is a loser in white society, so he goes to Asia where all like these Asian women who like don't want to be part of Asian culture will marry this white man as like a sign of rebellion, and this white man is like, you know, he's like a, like, you know, he's already like the type of guy who couldn't get any white girls, so he goes and gets Asian girls. So then they go, whenever they have a child, and the child, especially if it's a boy, because these are all guys, it's like, so the child's an Asian looking guy, so the child is the child of the white man, and who by what his marriage was, emasculated Asian man, and said he's like better than Asian men, and just like went to Asia to take their women. So the son is like emasculated by his father and rejected by his mother because he looks like the type of person that his mother never would have dated. They even feel it's like, you know, I grew up as an Asian man and there was no Asian father to tell me how to live this life. And like, I even look at my dad, and it's like all the issues I had growing up, like my dad gave me totally inadequate answers to, and it's more of like I had to man up and like find them myself and be the strong one and like do that. It isn't necessarily, it is totally heteronormative, and I'm like, I've been accused like, you know, by girls of being like, you know, you are like way too, like, why does everything, like, you know, you look down on a guy if he's not being masculine, or if you see an Asian guy who's like not being masculine, you're like, yeah, like he's being effeminate, like what's wrong with him, like he needs to man up, like just stuff like that, and just always being like, oh, you need to man up, and like I'm gonna admit that's not, like, I'm trying to get over that and like not view the world as like, you know, men should be masculine. I mean, and I don't think that women should be feminine or anything like that. That's not the way. It's more of like me just being like having my issues, I guess.